Hi. Today I'm going to tell you why I stopped picking up hitchhikers years ago. Probably been more than 25 years since I picked up a hitchhiker. I had two, let's just say, creepy experiences picking up hitchhikers back. Well, see, one of them was when I was in grad school. So that would have, actually, I think it was the fall of 1989, and I was taking a class. This is when we lived in Davenport, Iowa, and I was taking a class, an off-campus class for the University of Iowa, but it was in Rock Island, Illinois, which was across the Mississippi River. And I was coming back home from that class one evening, and it was cold and it was raining, and it was windy. And so I'm coming across this long bridge across the Mississippi, and there's this guy standing on the side of the road holding money up for somebody to pick him up and give him a ride. So I felt bad because of the weather and everything, and so I pull over. He comes and he gets inside, and I can tell by the way he smells he's been drinking. And he's kind of a, creepy guy, kind of low-life sort of person. And he starts telling me how he's been over in Rock Island at a bar all night drinking, and he killed himself. When he was over there, he got in a fight and killed himself, and he used the N-word. And like immediately I'm on high alert, trying to think what to do. And I'm thinking things like, okay, if this guy tries anything, he doesn't have his seatbelt on, so I can run the car into a tree, or I can just open the door and bail out and let the car go, or whatever. I mean, just, sort of just things, self-defense sort of things that I could do. And anyway, so we get to where he wants to be dropped off, and I made a note in my head as to where I dropped him off, and whatever. So, and of course I didn't have a cell phone then. I mean, there were cell phones, I think, but I didn't have one. And so I went to the closest payphone I could find, and I called the Davenport police, and I told them this story. And the lady put me on hold for a while, so I was on hold for a while. And then she comes back on and says that they had called over to the Rock Island police, and that they had had no report of anything like that happening. So she said probably the guy was just, full of crap or whatever. So anyway, so that shook me a little bit. And then a few 2 or 3 years later is when I was working at Hinsdale Hospital outside Chicago, and I had gone to take a class for a week at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and I was going to get dinner, I think, after the class was over, and there was this young woman beside the road hitchhiking, and she had a grocery sack with her, and I had thoughts of, if I remember correctly, Mama telling me that when she was young, that she had to hitchhike to the grocery store when Papa was in college, and they were pretty hard up for money and only had the one car. I may be misremembering that, but I think that's true. Anyway, so I saw this young woman, and I felt bad for her, and I thought, okay, I'll stop and I'll pick her up and I'll give her a ride. And as soon as she gets in the car, I know this something is amiss, because she wants to know which way is it to Canada. And so I said, well, okay, it's north, so you'd have to go out to the interstate and get on the way that's going north, and you could, get a ride from there. And then she says she hasn't eaten in like a day or whatever, so I said, well, I'll buy you, I'll take you and I'll get you dinner, and then I'll get you on your way. And so then during dinner, she's telling me stuff. But this was when Clinton was president, so I want to say it was 93 or 94 maybe, and maybe 95, I don't even remember. But anyway, she says if people knew what I know about Bill Clinton, they'd really have something to know, and I'm pretty sure that I'd probably get killed by the CIA, and I'm just nutty stuff like that. But then of course I'm thinking, well, it was Bill Clinton, so maybe. And then she did this weird thing when I was paying for dinner. She took my credit card. She said, "Oh, that's a nice credit card," and looked at it, and I don't know if she's trying to memorize the number or whatever, but I took it away from her and gave it to the server, and then when it came back, I made sure I took it right away. And so then I drove her out to the interstate and told her which way she needed to go and left her, and that was kind of the end of it. And again, I was a little, kind of taken aback by all this, a little shaken by the craziness. And then later I got to thinking that I think that I had given her my business card. Don't ask me why. Stupidity, white male arrogance that nothing can touch me. I don't know, but anyway, something. And so for a while I worried, what if this woman ends up murdered in a ditch somewhere, or a crack house, or whatever, and then my business card is on her. So nothing ever came of it, obviously. But anyway, that was it. After that, I said, never again will I pick up a hitchhiker, and I have not done so since. So those are my scary hitchhiker stories. Okay, love you. Thanks for watching.